Hello, this is your host. Today's question is, could the husband of missing mother Susan Powell have staged her disappearance? Let's frame the question that way. Could Josh Powell have staged his wife's disappearance, or did he kill her? First, let's look at what we know. Susan Powell was last seen at her home in West Valley City, Utah on December 2009. She was 28 years old. Her husband, Josh, reported her missing 3 days later on December. According to Josh, he had dropped their 2 young sons off at his mother's house on the morning of December, and when he returned home later that day, Susan was gone. He said that their bedroom window was wide open, and their 7-month-old baby was alone in his bassinet. The couple had recently had an argument over finances, and according to Josh, Susan had threatened to leave him and take the kids. Their 2 young sons were living with Josh's mother at the time of Susan's disappearance, and so there was no signs of a struggle because she was taking the kids with her. After Susan disappeared, Josh started dating a woman named Judy, who he described as a work colleague, but it turned out that Judy was actually a childhood friend of his from Oregon. After several months of searching for his wife, Josh moved in with Judy, which understandably made Susan's family very suspicious. Then in February 2010, during a search of Josh's home, police found some items belonging to Susan. These included a safe, a laptop, a camera, and some jewelry. They also discovered what appeared to be bloodstains on the carpet and curtains in the master bedroom. Josh said that the blood was Susan's and that she had cut her hand while making breakfast one morning and then left the mess for him to clean up. And even though he never called 911, he claimed that he had not cleaned up the blood himself until after she had gone missing. Police were not convinced by his explanation. In April 2010, police executed a search warrant on Josh's computer. It was seized during the February search but was sent away to be examined by a forensic team. On the computer, they found a number of disturbing things. There were internet searches for things like, what happens if you put chloroform on a sock? And how to make chloroform. Then there were searches for burial sites in Utah and graveyards that were close to places where Josh frequently visited. One search in particular stood out. It was for, where can I take my wife for her birthday? Something romantic. This search was conducted on December 6, 2009, just 2 days before Susan disappeared. According to Josh, on the day that Susan went missing, he dropped their sons off at his mother's house around 10 a.m. and then drove to a local store to pick up some concrete. He claimed that he used the concrete to build a bird bath for his boys. However, the receipt from the store showed that he bought the concrete on December 7th, the day after he said that he bought it. Then on December 9th, the day he reported Susan missing, he withdrew $3,000 from the couple's joint bank account. There were other strange things too. For example, Josh was oddly specific about the fact that Susan would have taken his sons on the morning of December. He told police that she would not have taken the kids if he had been home. So why would she take them when he was not home? Why would she take them just minutes after he dropped them off at Grandma's house? And why did he specifically tell police that she took the kids, even though he knew that wouldn't be the case? Then there were the life insurance policies. Susan had taken out 2 life insurance policies on Josh. Then there were the internet searches on Susan's computer. She had searched for things like divorce lawyer, child custody laws, and how to disappear without a trace. But again, these searches were done in November, a whole month before she disappeared. So did she plan to leave him, or did Josh kill her and then use her computer to make it look like she planned to leave him? And then we have the most obvious piece of evidence, the timeline itself. According to Josh, on the day that Susan disappeared, he dropped the kids off at his mother's house, then came home, discovered that Susan was gone, and spent the day looking for her. He said that he didn't report her missing until he ran out of options. But police felt that this was a lie. They believed that instead of dropping the kids off at his mother's house, he took them to his mother's house that morning, then returned home and killed Susan. Afterwards, he went to buy the concrete, then returned home again to stage the scene and collect his thoughts. The next day, he went to buy more concrete and tried to clean up the blood. He then waited another 7 days before reporting his wife missing. Another thing that struck me as odd was why he allowed his sons to be interviewed on television. If he really wanted to protect his children, he would have shielded them from the media, not paraded them in front of the cameras. And that leads me on to my opinion. In my opinion, Josh Powell definitely killed his wife. He did not stage her disappearance. He was just extremely sloppy at doing it. He did such a bad job, in fact, that I believe he got away with it for so long simply because police never suspected him. They were so focused on the idea that Susan ran away with the kids that they never looked at him. When someone you are so close to goes missing, it's always worth asking yourself, could they have done it? And in this case, it clearly could have been done. Now, obviously, there is no proof that Josh killed his wife, but all of the evidence points to him being guilty. My theory is that he snapped. He and Susan had been arguing a lot, and she decided to leave him. He never accepted that she was leaving him. In his mind, she couldn't leave him. He convinced himself that he owned her, and that she wasn't allowed to leave. So when she tried to leave, he killed her and staged the scene to look like she ran away. So to answer the question, did Josh Powell stage his wife's disappearance? No, he did not. He killed her. But he was just so unbelievably stupid about it. Now, I'm going to end this video here. However, if you want to watch another video about this case, I suggest searching for a video about Susan's brother's theory about what happened to her. Thanks for watching.